When the Pi Network white paper was released, it didn't just introduce a new cryptocurrency, it introduced a vision for how that currency would be governed. A decentralized, democratic model where the community, not a corporation, would guide the network's future. It promised a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, a system where elected committees would make critical decisions, approve ecosystem projects, and shape the rules of the game. This governance structure would emerge gradually, with transparency and participation at its core. In the early days, the core team would hold temporary control, not as rulers, but as stewards until pioneers were ready to take the reins. That was the vision. But now, years later, the DAO hasn't materialized. Committees have not been elected. Voting mechanisms remain in theory. And major decisions from app listings to ecosystem rules are still made from the top down. The promise of shared governance remains just that, a promise. The white paper mainnet, originally expected much earlier, remains locked behind incomplete KYC and ecosystem readiness. Years have passed, and pioneers are still operating within a closed loop, unable to move Pi freely to exchanges or wallets beyond the network. The scarcity of movement, once seen as a security feature, is now viewed by some as a limitation. It was meant to build anticipation, but for others, it's become a source of doubt. If Pi is ready for real-world use, why isn't it open? From the beginning, Pi took a different stance on price. The white paper clearly rejected speculation and early listings. There would be no ICO, no fundraising, no listing on centralized exchanges during testnet. Instead, value would come from community-set barter prices in real marketplaces. This philosophy made Pi unique, but it also made it invisible to the outside world. Today, there is no official Pi price, no chart, no volume, no public markets. Any trading seen online exists outside the control of the network, often speculative, sometimes misleading. To some, this is principled, a way to grow slowly and avoid volatility. To others, it feels like intentional obscurity, a way to keep value undefined and questions unanswered. Without visibility, pioneers have little sense of what their Pi is worth. And without price, the outside world struggles to take it seriously. The longer the delay, the more the question grows. Is Pi still following its white paper? Or has it shifted quietly towards something else? Governance hasn't launched. Utility remains thin. Mainnet is not open. Price is invisible. The core team continues to build, and many pioneers remain loyal. But others are asking hard questions. Where is this going? And who is really in control? Because in the end, a white paper is not just a document, it's a contract. And every delay, every deviation, puts that contract to the test.